Magandang umaga, everyone. Good morning. I'm Geeta Keswani, Project Lead for the Digital Democracy Project at Makati Business Club. Munting paalaala before we begin. For identification purposes, all attendees are required to have their first and last name and LGU name in their display. So if you could take a minute right now to rename yourselves na nakasulat po yung LGU name ninyo, it will make it easier for us when we assign you to your breakout rooms later on. Today's session is being recorded. We may use all or part of it in our platforms and publications and upcoming e-learning training. We encourage you to get your questions in early, even while the presentation is going on. You can type them in the chat box. As we start today's session, I'd like to remind everyone, if you can, and if you have the bandwidth, you can turn on your camera so that it feels like we're all in the same room together. And finally, we will be having surveys shared today by my colleague. Please make sure you fill it up so that you can get your certificate after the consultation later on. To officially start the program, let me call on Makati Business Club Director for Policy and Projects, Catch Ofilada. Catch?
Morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po. Welcome to Digital Democracy, a clear path training for LGUs and local civil society. This is an initiative of Makati Business Club's Digital Democracy Project, supported by USAID Philippines. We created the Digital Democracy Project for many reasons, to help governments have better relationships with their constituents, to support government decision-making with data, and to strengthen the trust of citizens in their local governments. Since 2020, we've been helping LGUs use online tools to consult with citizens. So far, we worked with 6 cities. I hope some of them are in the audience today. These are Pasig, Iligan City, Intramuros, Legazpi, Victorias, and Himamaylan. They have consulted their constituents on various topics, including mobility, transportation, small businesses, ease of doing business, improving mental health, and deciding which projects the SK should prioritize. Now that we've done this several times, we're focusing on sharing the knowledge and skills we have with our LGU partners. For this year, the participants of the Digital Democracy Training will have the opportunity to participate in the Digital Democracy Awards at the end of the year. These awards will recognize outstanding citizen consultations with categories including high impact on governance and transparency, most engaged citizens, most impactful for businesses, highest sustainability, and most supportive of investments, among others. The award ceremony will take place in Manila in the 10th month of the project. One representative from each LGU will be invited to fly into Manila and to attend the award ceremony. Through these awards, we aim to recognize and celebrate the exceptional efforts and achievements of our participating LGUs for their innovation, impact, and commitment to fostering digital democracy. The LGUs invited to attend in Metro Manila will also have a chance to meet some MBC members. Makati Business Club is a business association of the country's 400 largest companies, mostly conglomerates and big businesses. So today is day 1 of our 4-day training session. Our activity will introduce the concepts and processes of digital democracy and how it can be used to contribute to good governance. In the course of today's workshops, we'll be having a series of output-based breakout sessions for you to have first-hand experience on how to formulate plans for implementing digital democracy projects in your community. Thank you so much, and I look forward to today's discussions and breakout sessions. Handing over the floor to Alice Gayosa, who has a few questions for you. Alice?
Thank you, Catch. Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Throughout the Digital Democracy Initiative, we will ask you to please answer questionnaires that will help us better understand your perceptions of citizen engagement, particularly digital democracy later on when we learn more about it. We will request your completion of a questionnaire on, next slide, please. Day 1, today, before the training proper. Day 4, at the end of the training proper. And 3 months after the Digital Democracy Training Program. Each questionnaire will ask about your perceptions of your LGU, or for our civil society organization representatives, your partner LGU's citizen engagement, and later on, your experiences of enabling digital democracy in your communities. Completing each questionnaire is part of the requirements for the certificate of completion, which may be issued after your accomplishment of a digital democracy initiative in your respective communities. So, next slide, please. At this moment, please allow us to kindly request your participation by completing the first questionnaire. For the link to the questionnaire, please check your chat boxes or scan the QR code on the screen. We will allot 12 minutes for the completion of the survey, and we would like to kindly remind you that there are no right or wrong answers. Your candidness and your sharing of your perspective will be helpful in the survey. So muli po, wala po tayong tama o maling sagot sa survey questionnaire. Ang amin lang pong pakiusap ay nasagutan sana natin ng survey ng may gabay kung ano talaga po yung ating tingin o yung ating perspektibo. If you have a question or a clarification, please raise your hand or type your question in the chat box. And thank you very much. We may now start the survey. Thank you very much to all for completing the questionnaire. Maraming salamat po. Your answers will be helpful in our monitoring for the Digital Democracy Initiative. See you again on the next administration of the survey on the last day of the training program. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Aleph. Maraming salamat to everyone for answering the survey today. So with that, let's start our training. Actually, today, meron tayong representatives galing sa 5 lungsod. So kapag tinawag ko ang pangalan ninyo, ng inyong lungsod, can you give me a quick thumbs up? So Tacloban. Can I see your thumbs up? Yes, nandyan po kayo. I see you. Thank you so much for being here today, Tacloban. Tapos nun ngayon, Masbate City. All right. And then next we have Batangas City po. Yes, I see you giving us a thumbs up, Batangas City. Salamat po, Batangas City. Tapos nun Cagayan de Oro City. Can we hear again? Can we get a thumbs up po? Welcome po, Cagayan de Oro. And finally, San Fernando City, La Union. Welcome po. Thank you so much for being here today. Welcome to everyone. Ngayon araw, we will explore the exciting world of digital democracy, kung paano ito magagamit to promote good governance. Our training is designed to help you to equip you with the knowledge and tools needed to implement ang isang epektibong digital democracy initiative sa inyong mga komunidad. Catch will walk you through the objectives of our digital democracy training today. Catch?
Thanks, Gita. So our objectives for today are 3 things. So for the one that I was asking about objectives earlier, ito na po yun. First, we'll understand digital democracy. So by the end of this training, we hope that you'll have a clear understanding of what digital democracy is, and you'll learn how digital tools and platforms can be used to engage citizens, gather their input, and make more informed decisions. We hope that this knowledge will help you see how digital democracy can contribute to your good governance by making government processes more transparent, inclusive, and responsive. On the second point, we'll also learn the digital democracy process. We'll walk you through the essential steps involved in the digital democracy process. You'll learn the relevant guideposts, yung mga milestones po for each step, so that you are well prepared to implement these initiatives. So from planning and engaging stakeholders to collecting and analyzing data, each step will be important for the success of your digital democracy project. And third is developing a strategic action plan. You'll learn how to develop an action plan for a digital democracy initiative by working collaboratively. LGUs and civil society orgs can ensure that your initiatives are well supported, effective, and reflective of your communities. Handing the floor back to Gita for our clear pathway. Gita?
Maraming salamat, Catch. Sa susunod na apat ng session, we will explore the Clear Path training modules upang mapapahusay ang citizen engagement ng inyong respective LGUs. Ang aming target audience is you. You are the target of audience, yung mga LGU officials at yung mga CSO representatives ng mga cities. Because you play a crucial role in implementing and advocating for digital democracy within your community. Ang primary objective ng ClearPath training is to equip participants with the knowledge and skills needed to effectively engage in citizens in digital democracy process. Through this training, you'll learn how to use digital tools and platforms to gather citizen input from your community. At ang outcome nito is by the end of this training program, lahat kayo will be equipped to conduct digital democracy initiative sa inyong respective LGUs. So that's actually why sa end ng aming session na ito, we will have a roadmap and we will be working on it together. This training is designed not only to provide you with theoretical knowledge, but also to give you practical tools and strategies you can implement immediately sa inyong government units. So lahat tayo will work together towards creating a more inclusive and participatory government. So ang session 1 natin is clarify goals. Can we go to the next slide? The next slide after that. So today we begin with clarify goals. Sa itong module na ito, we will learn more about our community needs and assessing the digital landscape. Matuturuan natin yung problem tree analysis, and we'll identify core issues for discussion with citizens. By the end of this session, you'll have a clearer idea of your digital democracy roadmap. Ang pangalawang session naman is called Laid Foundations. In our second session, we will focus on preparing a plan by identifying key stakeholders and crafting effective questionnaires. Gagawa po tayo ng questionnaire para makakatanong po tayo sa mga sa mga citizens namin about our issues. And this session is interactive, so lahat ng mga cities, lahat kayo ay gagawa po kayo ng capstone project at the end para makaka-consult rin po kayo with your citizens. The third one is engage stakeholders. Engaging stakeholders is very, very important para sa successful consultation. In our third session, we'll discuss how to launch surveys, how to disseminate them through various channels, and work with community leaders para mas malakas po yung boses nito, para malawak yung reach ng itong project na ito. And then we will also learn about adapting strategies, which is really important for making data-driven decisions. So itong part ng session 3, we'll learn how to gather and analyze feedback to inform policy changes and ensure community engagement talaga. And then lastly, yung R sa ClearPath namin is review and renew. Here, we will learn how to close the feedback loop. Ang ibig sabihin nito, we will learn how to inform po ang mga citizens namin about what we are doing pagkatapos ng consultation. It ensures that our initiatives are transparent, responsive, so that our communities and our LGUs and our citizens come closer together. So before we proceed, I just wanted to do a quick check with everyone. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Can I get a heart, a confused, or a thumbs up? Yeah, I got a thumbs up, a few hearts. Great, great. Happy to see everyone being so cheerful and ready to learn today. Great. So before we proceed again, let's do a quick Zoom poll. I wanted to ask all of you, gaano kapamilyar kayo sa digital democracy o online consultation? So meron po kaming Zoom poll, lalabas po siya sa screen ninyo. At i-click niyo po ang answer ninyo. How familiar are you with digital democracy or online consultation? Hindi ba kayo familiar? Medyo familiar ba kayo? O sobrang familiar? O alam nyo na ito? Great. I think happy to hear na marami po, meron rin konting familiar tungkol sa topic na ito. And alam na, medyo meron kayong konting alam tungkol dito. And that's the point of this session today, na malalaman talaga natin about digital democracy and we'll all learn together. Maraming salamat po. I can see yung results ng survey, 62% is somewhat familiar, 35% not familiar, and meron po isa na very, very familiar. So that's very, very good. Okay, so meron po akong second question. Yung second question ko, what comes to mind when you hear digital democracy? So could we go to the next slide? Ano ang unang pumapasok sa isip ninyo kapag naririnig nyo ang salitang digital democracy? Can you write your answers in our chat box? Pag naririnig nyo yung digital democracy, anong papasok sa isip natin? Isip ba natin lahat to digital? Isip ba natin tungkol sa social media ba ito? Ano po yung naiisip ninyo? Innovation. Thank you, Bianca. That's a good answer. Naisip natin, parang tungkol sa innovation. A way to express our opinion, sabi ni Mark Anthony galing sa San Fernando. And then, e-democracy on the interactive tools. Thank you so much, Miss Vanessa, galing sa Batangas City. And then, tungkol daw sa digital space, sabi ni Dr. Antenor, galing sa Batangas rin. Electronic consultation. Thank you, Miss Ninfa. And then, openly sharing ideas. Yes, sir. Sir Raymond, galing sa Batangas. And transparency po, galing rin sa Batangas. Public participation through online tools. Sabi ni Miss Diaz galing sa Tacloban. Yes, I think these are all very, very great answers. Thank you so much. Talaga, it will really be about these topics and we will learn more as we go through this session. So today's session, so right now, before we jump into the ClearPath modules, let me call on Catch Afilada to go through the digital democracy projects, concepts. Catch?
Thanks, Gita. Okay, so digital democracy is all about using information and communication technology, or ICT, to boost democracy and get more people involved in government decision-making. So ginagamit po natin dito yung internet, cellphones, laptops. I'm sure since you're all joining this Zoom meeting, very familiar na po tayo sa paggamit nito. So iba-iba po yung mga stakeholders na kasama. Kasama po yung, syempre, yung local government, civil society organization, business, academe. So yan po yung mga schools, mga universities, media, and mga individual na tao. So sa iba po naming digital democracy projects, for example, kasama po yun din dyan yung mga homeowners associations, mga religious groups, church groups, at iba-iba. So it's important to note that digital democracy doesn't replace traditional face-to-face consultations. Instead, we hope na it helps or complements and strengthens them by adding ICT tools and innovations. Next, using digital tools and platforms offers many benefits. So ito po yung mga iba. Yung unang-una, there's strengthening cooperation and communication between yung LGU and yung communities niyo. Mas madali po ito para ma-identify yung mga concerns or yung mga gusto pong i-raise sa inyo ng communities. Number two, it is informing decision-making with data. So makikita po natin yan minsan, kunyari sila mayor po or yung governor nyo, meron silang idea or may policy sila na gustong i-share. Pero hindi nila alam exactly ano yung view ng citizenship dito. Parang sinusuportahan ba to talaga ng mga community? Using digital democracy and digital platforms, we allow governments to collect data and to use predictive analytics, AI, and engage in proactive planning. Alam ko baka scary po pakinggan yan, pero wag po tayo mag-alala, i-guide po kayo ni Gita at ng ibang facilitators kung paano po ito gamitin at makikita niyo po na madaling-madali lang po. Number three, enhancing resilience and emergency. So nakita po natin ng COVID-19 na kailangan po talaga yung digital infrastructure. Kasi nakikita natin na pag hindi tayo pwedeng pumunta physically sa government offices, yung digital infrastructure yung nagpapatuloy na parang napapakita natin na tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung pagserbisyo ng government. Pang-apat po is attracting business and investment. So Makati Business Club, because we are a business org, we see that by streamlining transactions and improving government service delivery, digital tools make local governments more attractive to businesses and investors. By that we mean, kung kunyari, mas digital savvy po yung LGU nyo, mas madali po na makakuha tayo ng investors para po gumawa ng businesses or magpatayo ng kung ano-ano po sa inyong LGU. Finally, digital democracy also plays a significant role in promoting good governance. Next slide. Okay, so from UNDP po, so UN Development Program, good governance means ensuring that political, social, and economic priorities are based on broad consensus, and that the voices of the poorest and most vulnerable are heard in decision making. So ano pong ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin po na kunyari kung ano man po yung ginagawa ng LGU, yun po talaga yung gustong unahin o yung mga priorities ng inyong komunidad. So unang-una po yun. At ikalawa na yung mga pinakamahihirap at pinaka-vulnerable sa inyong community, kasama rin po sila sa paggagawa ng desisyon. So ito po yung 8 characteristics of good governance. Number 1, it is participatory. Meaning everybody should have a say in government decisions. Citizens should be informed and have the freedom to participate. Kasama po dyan, sabihin natin yung mga youth, yung mga elderly, yung mga usually hindi po nakakasama sa mga government decision making. Number 2, kailangan po siyang consensus-oriented. So it's all about finding common ground. Ano po yung, pag sa isa pong community, minsan iba-iba tayo ng gustong mangyari. But using digital democracy tools, for example, makakahanap tayo ng ano ba talaga yung gusto nating path, o ano ba yung gusto nating polisiya. So different interests are mediated to reach a broad agreement that benefits the community as a whole. Number 3, decision makers, whether in government, the private sector, or civil society, are accountable. Kunyari po, sila mayor o yung mga iba pong members ng LGU natin, nag-explain po sila. Or they take accountability for their actions to the community. Parang masasabi po nila sa mga community, sa mga citizens na kaya namin ginagawa ito kasi ganito. Number 4, transparent. Information on government decisions, processes, and policies are freely accessible to those affected. Transparency helps build trust and helps citizens make informed decisions. Number 5, responsive. Institutions should serve stakeholders promptly and appropriately. Ibig sabihin po, kunyari kung may ni-raise ng issue ng citizens nyo na, or yung mga community nyo na, ito, importante to sa amin. Yung LGU po sana, medyo mas mabilis nilang na-address yung issue na yun. Number 6, it is effective and efficient. Government processes should deliver results that meet the community's needs while making the best use of available resources. 7, equitable and inclusive. Ang ibig sabihin po nito, lahat po ng tao, regardless of age, gender, or social status, so mayaman, mahirap, babae, lalaki, LGBTQ, and so on, they should have equal access to services and opportunities. Kumbaga, hindi po tayo nagdi-discriminate. Kunyari, itong grupo lang po yung may access. Lahat po talaga ng tao dapat available yun sa kanila. 8, it should follow the rule of law. So legal frameworks, meron po tayong mga batas, syempre sa Pilipinas at sa sariling LGU, may sarili po kayong ordinances. Legal framework should be fair and enforced impartially, with full protection of human rights, especially for vulnerable and minorities. So we see po that by using digital tools to encourage citizen participation and making government transactions more transparent and accessible, digital democracy supports and enhances these characteristics of good governance.
Thank you, Kat, for explaining that. So let's begin by clarifying goals. Actually, our session today looks like this. If you go to the next slide, we'll see that we're going to spend some time on the concepts. Then we'll have a breakout room where you'll define the problem, and then we'll move on to the sharing. Sa plenary po, we will share what we talked about in the breakout room. So for clarifying goals, ito po yung mga topics namin. So we will talk about assessing the landscape, securing leadership support, and conducting a problem tree analysis. So let's start with assessing the landscape. Meron po akong Zoom poll para sa inyo. So I would like to ask you, how would you rate the availability and reliability of internet connections within your community? Paano mo i-rate ang pagkakaroon at pagiging maaasahan ng connection sa internet sa inyong komunidad? Would you say it's napakahusay? Would you say it's maganda? Would you say fair? Katamtamaan? Katamtam? I think I'm saying it wrong. Poor ba siya? Mahina? Or very poor? Napakamahina? So I can see we're already answering the survey. Sure, wow, meron po tayong isang tao na excellent po yung internet nila, napakamahusay. And then we have good or maganda for 15 of you. And then 11 nakasulat fair naman, katamtamaan. And then at nakita ko na most of you is fair or good. Hindi naman poor or very poor yung internet ninyo. Which is very good po. Kasi this is really important kasi digital po yung project natin, di ba? Okay, yeah, I see more of you have answered, pero same po rin po. Most of you have good or maganda na internet connections or fair internet connections. So why did we do this Zoom poll? Because this is one of the criteria we need to assess in our cities to conduct the digital democracy consultation. So let's go to the next slide. So assessing the landscape. When we say assessing the landscape, ito po yung foundation of our digital democracy initiative. It involves understanding the current digital infrastructure and yung readiness po ng community to engage with you digitally. So kung mahina or very bad po yung internet natin, minsan mahirap po mag-consult online, di ba? The importance of assessing digital infrastructure. It's really important kasi it helps us identify the strengths and weaknesses of your existing systems so that we can plan effectively and also allocate resources kung kailangan there, where it's needed the most. So some key considerations is internet accessibility. Check po natin ano po yung internet accessibility ng aming communities. Will they be able to participate in the online survey? Digital literacy. Ano po yung level ng literacy or digital literacy ng mga citizens natin? Will they be able to use the online tool? Will they be able to engage in the strategy that we're doing? And then, meron po bang available digital tools already? Meron na po ba kayong surveying tools? Baka hindi nyo kailangan bago. Maybe you can use what you already have. And then also check yung effectiveness of the initiative that you have. By considering these factors, you'll be able to better plan a successful digital democracy project in your LGU. So going now to Catch.
Okay, thank you. When assessing your landscape, if the internet is bad or the situation is difficult, please don't give up. Isa pong example namin dito is Legazpi and actually Himamaylan. Pinaka-importante po talaga dito yung creativity. For example, sa Legazpi City, yung small business owners po yung gusto nilang i-emphasize. Kasi yung gusto nilang i-focus ay yung kung paano pagpapalakasin po yung small businesses. So sa Legazpi, yung ginawa nila, yung mga small business owners, nagpunta sila sa SEDP para po siyang local na cooperative. So napunta po sila doon sa SEDP centers, tapos doon sila nag-fill up ng online survey using yung SEDP Wi-Fi. In some cities naman po, yung barangay hall mismo yung ginamit nila. So in some cities, yung barangay hall, nag-install po sila ng mga laptops po doon or mga devices. Tapos doon na rin po nakigamit ng Wi-Fi yung mga citizens para ma-fill up yung survey. We also reached out to the private sector to ask if we can use the Wi-Fi in their retail locations. So we suggest that you can identify areas where ICT infrastructure can be accessed by communities. Siguro po, alam nyo rin po kung saan yung pinakamalakas na internet sa area ninyo, or kung hindi man malakas dyan, kung saan sila pwedeng pumunta para mas madali para dun sa mga communities na sumali dun sa conversation. Go ahead, Gita.
Thanks for the tip, Catch. Another crucial aspect to consider when assessing the landscape is securing leadership support. Leaders play a vital role in championing the initiative and allocating resources and driving participation. So without the backing of key leaders, mahirap, it might struggle to gain the necessary resources and visibility. Leadership support ensures that the initiative is prioritized and there's accountability for its success. So ito po mga konting strategies para so that we can have leadership support. Unang-una, let's present the benefits. Kung ipapakita natin sa mga leaders namin, ano yung benefits ng digital democracy and how it can help yung decision-making ng mga mayors namin, and how it can boost in citizen engagement, this really helps our leaders think, oh, baka this is a good decision, or baka, yes, gawin natin ito. Secondly, engage early. Involve the leaders from the very beginning para alam nila ano yung nangyayari and they support the initiative. And then finally, we can also showcase the success stories. Meron po kaming digital democracy handbooks. Sa handbooks namin, nakasulat lahat ng mga projects namin in the past and how they impacted the different cities. So you can share this with our leaders and explain explain yung successful digital democracy projects and how it will really benefit the community. So by using these strategies, you can secure leadership support needed to drive your initiative forward. And it's really essential for the success of your project. Leaders can champion the initiative, they can help allocate resources and drive participation. So let's look at the example from Pasig City. Let me ask Catch about that because she's the one who started the pilot project in Pasig in 2020.
Okay. So in Pasig City, yung gusto po ni Mayor, gusto po niyang gawing pedestrian-only zone, yung isang main kalsada sa Pasig City. So ibig sabihin po noon, bawal po yung mga kotse na dumaan, bawal po yung public transportation, talagang tao lang po. So to ensure the success of the project and to make sure na naiintindihan po ng lahat kung anong ibig sabihin nun, gumawa po sila ng isang digital democracy consultation. Very important yung support ng local leaders para sa prosesong ito. Kunyari po si Mayor Vico, he championed the initiative and he emphasized the importance of community input in making the decision. So si Mayor po mismo yung nagsabi na importante to at kailangan nating gawin to. With his backing, the city was mobilized to engage in the consultation process. So the LGU worked together with local biking groups to conduct online surveys and virtual town hall meetings. In this process, we gathered feedback and suggestions on how to improve yung proposed pedestrian zone ni Mayor. So this approach not only helped in making a well-informed decision, but also helped foster the sense of community, ownership, and trust in the local government. So kunyari po, alam ko po, marami sa atin may experience na nagagawa tayo ng kunyari bagong transportation policy. Kunyari, one-way street lang to. Or in some areas, sasaraduhin yung certain na gates para hindi makadaan yung mga kotse. Siguro naranasan nyo na minsan may pushback tayo galing sa community. Yung mga kotseng naliligaw o yung mga tao na nagugulat na ay biglang sarado na pala yan. Pag sinasama po natin sila dun sa proseso ng paggawa ng policy sa umpisa pa lang, hindi na sila magugulat, tsaka imbis na magulat sila o magalit sila, maging susuportahan pa po nila yung policy niyo. Okay. Turning back to Kita.
Thank you, Catch. So with that, we have our health break po for the day. We would like to pause for 10 minutes to give everyone some time to grab a coffee, have a health break, and then see you back here in 10 minutes where we will talk about problem tree analysis at pupunta na po tayo sa ating breakout rooms. So good morning. See you in 10 minutes. Welcome back. Magandang umaga ulit. I hope everyone is back sa inyong health break. Can I get a quick thumbs up or heart from everyone para malaman ko kung if you're all okay po? Yes, okay po kayo? Yes, I get the hearts and the thumbs up. Salamat po sa inyong lahat. So the next part we are going to talk about is problem tree analysis. Yung problem tree analysis po ay isang magaling na tool para maintindihan ang mga root cause or yung pangunahing sanhi ng mga issue at maintindihan ang kanilang mga epekto. We're going to learn about this today upang mas maunawaan natin ang topic na you will be consulting your citizens on. Ang problem tree analysis helps break down complex issues into manageable parts sa mas maliit na mga bahagi para ma-identify natin ang root causes and their interrelationships. This analysis provides a visual representation of problems, making it easier to communicate and address them. So, yung mga steps to conduct a problem tree analysis, unang-una, magsisimula tayo sa malinaw na pagpaliwanag sa mga main issue. Tapos nun, second, we need to identify the causes. So dito, nagbe-brainstorm po tayo and ililist natin lahat ng possible causes for the main problem. Tapos nun, thirdly, i-identify natin yung effects. I-list ang different effects or consequences ng main problem. And then, finally, we create the problem tree. So let's do this together. So I will be sharing my screen now. And let's create the problem tree together. Ito po yung breakout room slides ninyo. We will share this with you. So yung breakout room slides will look like this, and kayo po ang mag-a-answer ng problem tree ninyo sa inyong breakout room. So unang-una, we recommend everyone introduces themselves. I'm sure you all know each other naman, pero if you don't, maybe you could take a minute to introduce yourselves, and then gawin po nyo yung problem tree sa inyong breakout room. So, for example, sa problem tree, imagine the problem is low community engagement in digital platforms. So, sulat natin yung core problem. Low community engagement in digital platforms. So, ngayon, ang question po natin is, ano po yung causes ng low community engagement in digital platforms? Maybe you could answer in the chat box. Lack of access to the internet. That's a good one po. One of the root causes could be lack of access to the internet. Lack of access to the internet. Any other suggestions po? Ano po yung root causes? But low community engagement sa digital platform? Sa inyong LGU po, ano po ang nararanasan ninyo? Nakasulat po dito, demographics of the people, old people. Oh, sige po, that's a good one po. Maybe demographics or baka yung iniisip po natin dito is digital literacy, di ba? Minsan, hindi po nila alam paano gamitin yung mga platforms. So then, ano po yung sinabi po ni Ms. Paz is lack of digital platforms knowledge. Yes po, digital literacy. Sabi ni Jeremy De Ang galing sa San Fernando, La Union, low appreciation. Sulat po rin natin, low appreciation. Hindi po nila nai-appreciate yung importante nito. Awareness, lack of awareness. So we can write that down, lack of awareness. So, internet not available in some areas, lack of access talaga po. And then not available internet. So dito po, just keep adding yung mga root causes ninyo para alam natin ano po yung mga causes ng low community engagement in digital platforms. So ngayon na meron na tayong 5 causes, ano po yung effects nito? Ano yung effect ng low community engagement in digital platforms? Could you suggest some answers? So ano po yung effect ng community? Low participation, yes. Thank you so much. So low participation in community in the government kasi hindi po nila alam how to engage with the digital platform. Alam naman natin latest or all of the latest information nasa digital platforms na ngayon. So maybe it results in low participation. Ano po yung ibang effects ng low community engagement? Miscommunication. Galing po kay Raymond Sadiva, galing sa Batangas City. That's very good, sir. Miscommunication ang nangyayari po if we have low community engagement. That's true po. Sometimes that's true. Then hindi po natin alam ano yung tama. We're we get confused with fake news maybe. So these are effects of the low community engagement in digital platforms. Any other suggestions? Disinterest from people's end. Yes po, there is disinterest. Is this an effect po? Or a root cause? Mukhang both. It could be disinterest from people's end is also an effect and also a root cause. Can be both. So it's interesting po. No proper dissemination. That's true po. No proper dissemination. So yun po, ito po yung effect ng low community engagement, low citizen satisfaction. Yes, that's so true. Hindi po sila satisfied, and then that's not really good for us. And then inadequate information po. Yes. So we can see na marami talagang effects of low community engagement. Pero now that we can see it on our screen, it's easier for us to understand ano ba yung area we want to focus on. Kasi ang dami, malawak talaga itong issue na ito. We would like to narrow down and be more specific about what we are discussing. So I hope it's pretty clear na ano po yung problem tree analysis. So just a reminder, when you're in the Zoom room, why don't you ask yourself, ano po yung most pressing issues facing your community? How do community members prefer to receive or share information? And what digital tools and platforms are they familiar with? So this is like in general for the assessing the landscapes. And but definitely when asking about the what would be the questions? What is the problem or objective you and your team are trying to solve for? What are the top 3 causes of the problem? And what are the top 3 consequences of this problem? All right, so with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I think lahat po kayo ay ready na po para sa breakout room ninyo. So in the breakout room, what's gonna happen here is we are going to be assigning you into your room per LGU. So if you are in Masbate, you'll be in the Masbate room, etc. And then this breakout room will be 30 minutes long. Sir Felix, can we go to the next slide? Next slide, sir. Yes. So the breakout session will run for 30 minutes. There are 5 breakout rooms, actually 4 breakout rooms assigned per LGU. You'll have 2 prompts. Meron po kaming reminder para sa inyo na 10 minutes left or 5 minutes left in case you're so involved with your conversation. And then while you're in the room po, we suggest vote po kayo ng isang leader para sila po ang mag-explain sa main session later. Ano ang nausap ninyo in the breakout room. After the session, your chosen leader will summarize what was discussed and share in the main room. So sa nakita po nyo sa chat box namin, meron po kaming mga links. Each city has your own breakout room slides. So visit nyo po yung slides ninyo and you can already fill up your problem tree analysis. So meron po ba questions? Any questions po? All good na po? Can I have a thumbs up kung ready na po kayo pumunta sa breakout room? Yes, 3 thumbs up. Great. I think no questions. Everyone is ready to go to the breakout room. All right, so we're going to open the breakout rooms now. Meron po isang button nakasulat join breakout room or naka-flash po yata sa screen ninyo. So please go to your breakout rooms and if you need any assistance, we can help you naman po go to your room. Hello po, welcome back everyone sa ating main session. I hope you had a great discussion po. So now we will have our sharing and our plenary. So we will ask everyone po to kindly share their screens and do their presentation. Any volunteers sa inyong lahat who wants to go first? Is it Batangas? Is it Masbate? Sorry, is it Tacloban? Is it Cagayan de
Sige
Oro?
po, Batangas City na po.
Sure po. All right. So we're going to start with Batangas City. And yeah, we've, I think, opened the permissions po if you would like to share your screen. So this is Dr. Antenor.
Yes po.
All right. Go ahead, Dr. Antenor.
So I'm gonna share my screen po. Thank you. Okay, so have you seen my screen po?
Yes.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. So after 30 minutes of collaborative efforts from the Batangas City government and employees, so we have come up with our problem. So this is actually the current or the present issues that we have right now at the Batangas City government. Just to give you an introduction, okay, we have already a digital platforms, okay, in terms of dealing with community inquiries and requests. And this is in form of our official Facebook page, the Palakat Batangas City. Okay, but currently, as per our collaborative inputs, we have not law, but an insufficient digital platforms. Okay, in terms of for community engagement. The only site po talaga na nakakapag-lodge ng information sa ating mga constituents is through this Palakat Facebook page. Okay, so for our root causes, we have come up with 5 inputs. We have first is non-user friendly platform. Okay, because the reason why we're dealing with non-user friendly platforms is one of these as a cause is that sometimes yun nga, the reason for low community engagement is because they really don't know how to use the digital platforms. Okay, the specific platforms. But because some other offices, maybe they have already a sufficient, a digital platforms at their end. But yung paggamit po, kung paano siya gagamitin, is really one of the root cause possibly of why the community have this kind of low engagement. The second one is, of course, an unstable internet connection. This is not only in Batangas City somehow, but this is actually major concerns when it comes to dealing with digital medium or platforms. Instability of internet connection is one of the root cause, not only in terms of dealing with community requests and inquiries, but majority of the operations and services that we have, okay, at the city government. The third one is resistance to change. Okay, we know that when you are dealing with digital platforms, majority of the culture, okay, that we have in the offices, specifically those employees who are at the mas maedad na po sa atin. Okay, they are really telling na hindi kami, pagdating sa computer, parang ayaw nga nilang humawak. Okay, so that is also, I think, one of the root cause. Meron tayong platforms, okay, insufficient nga tayo, but then again, isa pa sa nakakapag-contribute ng ganong way is yung resistance ng mga tao sa changes. Because if we are, kasi kung hindi tayo sasabay, di ka po, maiiwan tayo. Okay, so the reason why isa rin po ito. Yung kultura nga kasi natin is pagka tayo may pagbabago, lalo na when it comes to digital aspects, medyo ayaw ng iba sa ganyan. Okay? The fourth one is in terms of digital unawareness. Kasi nga po, aside from doon sa non-user friendly platform na nababanggit natin, digitally, hindi nila alam na para bang ang mga tao, even sila mismo, ayaw nila na i-lodge yung kanilang concern or queries kasi parang hindi nila alam, they are really unaware na when it comes to digital, meron tayong privacy. Hindi ka po meron tayong consider din na when it comes to privacy of the person. Okay, the reason why we consider this also as a root cause. And last is the lack of time and interest, which we also considered as one of the effects. Okay, both effects and root cause, we are dealing with lack of time, interest, and engagement. Siya na po mismo, yung pagiging engaged po ng tao ay kulang. Kaya kung bakit din when it comes to their engagement nga po sa mga public services, sa atin pong mga binibigay na serbisyo, sa atin pong iba't ibang opisina, nananawa na sila, yung parang wala na rin silang panahon para ibigay. Kasi nga po, kung kulang, halimbawa po, palakat lang. Eh hindi naman po lahat ng opisina nakikater ng palakat, di ba po? So kung ang kanilang concern ay hindi na actionan, for example, okay? So parang sasabihin na nila, iisipin na lang nila na nakakasawa ng ibigay din, ng ibigay yung concern mo kung hindi naman na-actionan. So parang yung engagement talaga nila, yung time nila, yung interest nila when it comes to their query or concerns ay hindi na po nila ginagawa. Okay? The reason why is one of the considered as an root cause as well as an effect. The second effect po we have here is miscommunication or
Sorry, Doc.
Yes,
Dr. Adrenor, sorry just to interrupt. We just want to cover all of the themes today. So maybe you could summarize in 1 minute.
Okay. So the second effects is the miscommunication and misinterpretation. As we all know na kapag ka po hindi po na dadwell yung kanilang concern, they are considered as miscommunication. The third is low satisfaction rate because yun nga, if there is no sufficient digital platforms for them to be engaged in public service, their satisfaction rate will be low. And then last po is lack of community representation kasi nga po hindi po lahat ay na-reach out nila yung iba't ibang department. So kung sa palakat lang po, hindi po sufficient yung knowledge or information they have, kailangan pa nilang i-refer sa ibang department for a specific part. So that's summarizes po our problem tree analysis for Batangas City Government. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Antenor. That was really great. It was really nice to hear the point of view of Batangas City and looking forward to see what you plan to do with that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Can I stop the sharing?
Yes, yes. And now I'd like to call Mark Anthony Latoja from the city of San Fernando, La Union. Sir Mark, you can start sharing your screen. Yes, great. And then Sir Mark, we have 3 minutes for you po, and then we'll move on to the next city, which is Cagayan de Oro.
Go ahead, Sandra.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Zandra Manongdo from the City Government of San Fernando, La Union. We are actually having a watch party with the other representatives of our LGU. So I am here as Zandra and not as Sir Mark Latoja. So anyway, so here is our problem tree, and we identified our problem, which is the low utilization of feedback mechanism. So just to inform everyone, we have more than one feedback mechanism here in our city government, but these are the causes that we identified. First one is the misconceptions that feedback are unappreciated. We also have here the means of using or owning digital devices, lack of internet in public places and in upland barangays. We also have here the demography or the generational gap or age specifically, and the unclear guidelines for citizens on the feedback mechanisms, which also goes through the low info, caused by the low information dissemination drive of city government. So in general, these causes are actually due to data-driven causes. We have data supporting this, so we would like to address this problem. And the effects are the low citizen engagement, low appreciation on the use of technology, and the platforms are not being used. So here in the city government, some of our clients or our constituents have these misconceptions that their feedback are not appreciated. So they're thinking that even though I will give feedback, di naman siya ma-actionan agad or something like that. And dito naman po sa means of owning digital devices, just like what Batangas City says, some of the residents do not have digital devices or do not know how to use their digital devices. So that's actually a gap na i-stop or nag-refrain from the residents to give or utilize our feedback mechanisms. The lack of internet in public places, especially in upland barangay. Siyempre, upland po siya, mahina po yung signal. So yung mga online platforms po namin for feedback mechanisms are not being used. And the age gap. For to expound the effects of the problem we identified. So, since hindi nga po nagagamit ng maayos or hindi na ma-maximize yung paggamit po namin ng feedback mechanisms, mababa po yung engagement ng citizens. Hindi po na ma-maximize yung paggamit ng technological devices that we have here in the city, and the platforms that we offered are not also maximized dahil nga po sa mga root causes po na we identified here in our problem tree analysis. So that would be all, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Miss Sandra. That's really interesting to hear. There were some common areas actually about the age and also the access to the internet. So now I'd like to take this moment to call on Raelita Legaspi of Cagayan de Oro City. Raelita?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Call me Ray. I'm Ray Legaspi of the Oro Trade and Investment Promotion Center of Cagayan de Oro City, Cagayan de Oro LGU. So, because most of us who attended this MDC session are from this office, the Oro Trade and Investment Promotion Center. So, ang na-identify namin na core problem is the lack of familiarity with Oro TIPC services that are tailored to micro, small, and medium enterprises. So, a number of causes in there, but I will focus on the fact that the services for MSMEs are very new to us. We are actually focused on investment promotions and servicing, but because of the Mandanas ruling that devolved the services for MSMEs to the LGUs from the Department of Trade and Industry, it is our office that are now the main providers of the services for MSMEs. So, of course, being new to our office, we face a lack of staff that can handle the devolved functions. And then we have inadequate communication channels reaching MSMEs because we haven't been used to communicating with them. And we do not have the inventory or contact details of MSMEs, and the information dissemination for MSMEs are not tailored fit, etc. But when we looked at the effects, they are really very serious because not having this familiarity of the MSMEs to our services, we have programs and capacity development, but we don't get enough participants. There is also a possible mismatch of the available MSME services to the actual needs of the MSMEs, because we are not really able to engage with the majority of them. But not to say that the programs are not good, because in fact, we have several programs that are a success if you look at the feedback of those who attended. The problem lang talaga, at 98 to 99% of our 32,000 registered MSMEs with business permitting, it means that it's a drop in the bucket or a drop in the sea of MSMEs that we are providing the services to. So yun po ang aming na-identify that we think can be solved by digital democracy.
Thank you so much, Ray. It was nice to hear about this topic, and it's really interesting, and I look forward to learning more about how you decide to address the topic in the future session.
All right.
Thank you. And then last but not least, I'd like to call on Azzy Ariza from Tacloban City. Azzy?
Hi, mabuhay. Okay, wait. I'm gonna share the screen. Okay. It's there now.
Yes, we can see
Okay.
you.
So let us preface na we preface this on the results of the Citizen Satisfaction Index system conducted by DILG in partnership with a local university. Therein, of 47 total services offered by the LGU, 17 were found to have low awareness rating, meaning the citizens did not know that those services were available. So hence, our problem presented is low awareness of LGU programs and services. The causes we see, we identified are: first, there's limited access to information sources. This includes digital, social media, then direct na communication with the communities. Also, in terms of dissemination, we have mechanisms naman. We have radio programs, we have, again, social media, but the activities are not regular. Tsaka yung reach perhaps is not as large as we would hope. Connecting that, digital illiteracy, hindi nagtitake advantage yung may biggest reach, which is maybe Facebook, Twitter, etc. para maparating yung information. So as it is, most na sources of information are still via the barangay or via radio sources, which the reach is limited and it only targets a certain demographic. Kaya yung ibang demographics are not made aware of the programs. Then, there is no institutionalized feedback mechanisms. As it stands, wala pa po kaming freedom of information na ordinance that is being worked on together with change. Then, yung pag-process din namin ng information, pag-gather ng feedback is done in an by office basis. So, there is no central repository and processing center for information gathered from citizens, be it via digital, personal sources, Dropbox, etc. As a result, there is low participation in policy-making activities. Actually, right now in 2024, medyo it's already increasing, pero in the past talaga, participation is from citizens is very low. Coupled with the fact na ang baba ng CSO accreditation namin. Then, yung direct connection with the low awareness is yung low availability of programs and services. This is especially the case in governance services, health services, environmental management services. Because of the low availment, yung expectation ng citizens ay hindi na meet. So they're expecting this kind of services dahil hindi nila alam na that these are available. They think that these services are not being provided. Hence, low satisfaction by citizens and unmet expectations. Then, innovation of services is not guided by citizen input. Yung paggawa ng policies, hindi siya as collaborative as we would hope. Lastly, yung sector na may pinaka-low yung awareness, it's only 17% of all the surveyed, 17% lang yung may alam, are in regards sa tourism sector. This is such a big missed opportunity kasi Tacloban is the regional gateway of Eastern Visayas. So if we could capitalize on better marketing strategy, better promotion, investment promotion, then it would be beneficial for the LGU and the entire region. That's all po.
Thank you so much, Azzy. So I was in his room and I heard how they came together and put together the ideas po para sa Tacloban. So thank you to everyone for today, and thank you for highlighting the importance of your different topics. We're so excited and looking forward to hearing how you develop it further and create your plan to consult with your citizens. So before we close today's program, I'd like to request a quick photo op with everyone. So if you could kindly open your video now, what I'll do is I'll count to 2 times. I'll count to 3. And so that we can take a nice souvenir from today. All right, so 1, 2, 3, smile. Oh, I think let's San Fernando City unblur your background because we can't see you. So right now everyone is blurred kasi naka-blur po yung background nila. You just have to click on your video and change your video. Yeah, there we go. Sige po. All right, so I'll count again. 1, 2, 3, smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you, everyone, for participating in today's activity. If you haven't already, we'd like to ask you to like and follow our social media channels. We'll be showing that on the screen. And then looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Same time, 9:30 a.m. po. Sorry, our reminder said 9, but please be here 9:30. We'll be opening the Zoom room by 9:15. So all of you can come in and we can do a little chica before we start. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And thank you so much. And if you have any questions, happy to address them as well tomorrow. We will be having a data science expert joining us tomorrow as well. All right. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.